What's going on, everybody? Your man Eric Wilson here for the Sports Arena. So, as I'm sure most people have seen, Doug Pederson is no longer the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. He has been released, fired, let go, call it whatever you want to call it. But the Doug Pederson era is over. And my phone is still blowing up. People are surprised. They're shocked. How could this happen? Someone said, I think they jumped the gun on this one. Yeah, not so much. And let me tell you why. First, before I get to all that, let me simply say this. To Doug Pederson, thank you. You are the first and only coach right now in Philadelphia Eagles history to bring us a Super Bowl championship. So I appreciate that as an Eagles fan. With that being said, I have to say this. It needed to happen. And people are like, they're blown away by my thoughts behind this. But let me tell you to you from a fan's perspective. 3 years ago, we won the whole damn thing. It took us 52 years to get to that point. But we accomplished it. Now, granted, we had help. We had guys like LeGarrette Blount, Torrey Smith, Malcolm Jenkins. We had solid guys, running backs, wide receivers, Zach Ertz. At the time, my opinion, still hold to this day. He's a top tight end. I called him the best tight end in the game at that point in time. We won it all. And 3 years after the fact, you go from being a top of the mountain to 4-11-1. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a time frame where, and I'm just going to say it, please excuse the French that may come out of my mouth, but shit like that just can't happen in the NFL nowadays. It can't. You got guys that are younger, that are faster, that are hungrier, that are smarter. You have to compete each and every week. And this season has proven just that. Now, listen, I'll take the injuries, okay? It's a part of the game. We know that to be true. We know that's going to happen. But you find a way to get it done. And right now, I'm not surprised by this at all. I'm not. What I'm surprised at is that Howie Roseman still has a job because his GM skills are truly suspect. With that being said, let me get my man, and I knew he was going to be the first to chime in here with me, Michael Caratanudo. What's up, Mike?
Man, you stole my thunder. I mean, we all blamed Howie earlier in the season, as the NFC East was a dumpster fire. Although, quick side note, obviously with how Washington played, I knew it'd be a close game against Tampa. I mean, he had it. I mean, that being said, though, I think ownership, obviously, I think Jeffrey Lurie obviously sided with Howie on this because
No. He didn't side with Howie. You want to know who he sided with? He sided with Carson. He sided with his quarterback. Carson Wentz has Jeffrey Lurie on speed dial. He has the bat phone.
But he might, Eric. And look,
there is no might about it, Mike.
Okay,
He's got it.
If he does, I just don't think he has that pull. And either way, Howie's the one that's. But okay, that being aside, so taking that little part out of the equation for a second, Howie, all those things you're saying, obviously about Zach Ertz, and you bring in a free agent like LeGarrette Blount, who we all know is just, again, if he could, I know, terrible pun, but if he could have stayed off the Blunts, I mean, that was a running back that just punished people, and we know it. I mean, he was in Pittsburgh. I mean, he was the X factor. Obviously, in New England, he was an X factor. And then you go to Philly, and you basically lead them to hell. I mean, another piece in leading them to a championship. But yeah, with everything that Doug Pederson did, but this is what the NFL wants. I mean, to your point, like Alex and I know you remember Alex and I were going back and forth about this 3 weeks ago. They want parity. They want 8-8 basically, because for the teams you have, obviously the 14-2 Kansas City Chiefs, the what, 12-4 Buffalo Bills and stuff like that. You still have, you have your Cincinnati Bengals, and I'm not trying to pile on them. Yes, I get their number one pick went down. But that being said, like, ownership to that point, though, sides with the GM for now, because he gave Carson that contract, which, to your point, then obviously ownership really wanted to give him that contract, and they got it done.
Yes,
but
that's exactly what it was.
They also had to know, and ownership signing off on him drafting Jalen Hurts in the second round. So, I mean, and again, how Jalen Hurts played, I'm with you. Do I think that he showed signs? But yes, let's see what happens when they get tape. I'm not saying that he won't be good. I'm not saying that he can't be good. I mean, if he's in Philly, I don't want that to happen. But that being said, like, it's one of those things where they fired Doug Pederson in an NFL where, yes, you want to be above 8-8, you want to be, out of that 9-7 area. But I have a problem with it, because I think that, yes, it was a terrible season. It was terrible for the whole division. But I think you run it back with Pederson one more time, because obviously he knew what he was doing. Yes, the assistants you've mentioned many times that he lost in, obviously Frank Reich, seeing the job he's doing as a head coach, DeFilippo gone. So I'm not saying I don't see why they did it, but I would have went another year. To me, it's a little quick.
Let me welcome in Mr. Fleming, because I know he's limited on time here. Mr. Fleming, thank you for joining us. Go ahead, man. Give me your perspective, sir.
What did I miss? I've been at work.
Doug Pederson has been fired as the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Shocker.
Not really.
No, not at all. You lost the locker room. When you decided to give the game away to the Washington football team and you benched Jalen Hurts for a guy that gave you no chance in winning after the Carson Wentz drama, somebody's head had to roll. I'm
Exactly.
shocked.
I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked by this at all. I said this is 1 down and 2 to go. Because as far as I'm concerned, Doug was the first, Howie needs to be the second, and Carson needs to be the third. They all need to get the hell out of Philadelphia, because in order for this team to get themselves back to where they can be and where I want them to be, they need to clean house. Okay? We've seen other franchises and other organizations blow shit up and make all these extraordinary changes, and they rebuild and they get themselves back to where they once were, which was a prominent level. That's what needs to happen in Philadelphia. Philadelphia needs to be blown up right now. Doug was the first. Howie, as his GM responsibilities, thank you, but bye, Felicia. And Carson, if you cannot handle the pressure of Philadelphia, which I thought he could, I honest to God thought he could handle it. But clearly, the minute your ass was told to go sit down because you weren't performing at a level that was expected of you, now you don't want to play in Philadelphia. Guess what? Bye, Karen. Don't need you. I'll take Jalen Hurts. Hell, I'll take Mr. Interception Nate Sudfeld before I take Carson Wentz again. The fact that he is still on the Philadelphia Eagles roster pisses me off right now.
Hey, Eric.
So, what?
We talked about this in April and May, did we not? It
We
wasn't
did,
a question
sir.
of if, it was a question of when.
Exactly. You're
Yeah, but
absolutely
now
right.
it becomes a money thing, and we all talked about this. I mean, Alex, if I'm Howie Roseman and I call you about trading Carson Wentz, you have to take on that contract. Say you were interested in him. There's no way on God's green earth that you can turn around to your ownership and try and justify this trade, because money wise, it's not worth it. So who's going to take him? That's the whole thing. Like I can offer you. I'm trading you Carson Wentz. I'm going to want what? At least a first round, if not 2 first-round picks, because of the money you gave him, which was a mistake. But even with negotiation from the contract standpoint, how do you justify to your ownership if you feel like you can fix Carson Wentz?
Two things, and then I got to go back to work. One, there's one team that needs to be on the phone with the Philadelphia Eagles right now, and that would be the Houston Texans. They have an upset Deshaun Watson, who just signed a big contract. Carson Wentz, big contract, upset. I see a quarterback swap. and we don't need any Pornhub to make sure that this deal gets done. Number two, there's no need to put an APB out for me. Did I not tell you guys yesterday, not only in my writing, but on the pop-up shop, that the Cleveland Browns were going to have their Super Bowl and beat the Pittsburgh Steelers? Now, don't get me wrong. They're still irrelevant. They're going to get washed by the Kansas City Chiefs. But they're going to do their job, get Kansas City sick, so Buffalo can pick up the pieces. Yes, I didn't stutter. Buffalo can pick up the pieces and beat Kansas City to go to the Super Bowl. I haven't changed a damn thing. I'm not talking too fast. Y'all just listening to stuff.
All right, Alex, brother, we love you. I'll
we
talk
love
to you
you
in a minute, man.
Yeah. Now he's
Peace.
on Cleveland.
So listen, we are getting people chiming in here. I mean, Ruth
But
wants
Eric,
to
okay,
know.
I see the
So who do I want to see as the next head coach? What were you going to say, Mike?
Well, two things. A, I can see, okay, Deshaun Watson, but I mean, would he want to go to Philly? I mean, he's leaving the dysfunctional situation in Houston, which was worse. Bill O'Brien made it worse than I think the overall situation in Philly is. I would give Alex that point on that. But I think if Deshaun gets traded and goes anywhere, it would be somewhere like, I mean, could you see how unhappy Sean McVay is with Jared Goff? Yeah, I know the thumb. And I mean, the Rams, we look, as someone that covers it and we're in it, like you can always throw out teams. You can always ask a question, start a rumor. I'm just saying, we both agreed last year Phillip Rivers would be great for Indianapolis. Well, it worked out pretty well for him. I mean, they ran into Buffalo. But
no, you're right.
You said it to me, and I was like, wow, that's actually a really good fit. Like, even though he moved to Florida, I thought he might end up in Jacksonville, but he went to Indy, and it worked out well. But yeah, I mean, I could see the Rams. Granted, yes, they're still in the playoffs, but if Sean McVay's unhappy, you could see maybe something that it's LA. It's a new stadium. It's big money. Like bring Deshaun Watson in. But Howie gets to pick the coach. So yeah, I'm with you on that, on Howie going out. But now he's going to be picking the next new head coach. So again, I mean, it's that fine line. So if you want to, they obviously believe in him in some way, shape, or form. And again, I like the Jalen Hurts pick in the second round. Turned out to be really well. Again, everybody can hindsight say, oh, you could have got him. Like I said last week, could have got him in the third round, maybe the fourth round, right? But when you also pass on somebody like, a Justin Jefferson, right? People figured,
Mike,
okay,
we can go down the list of players that.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Every team can do it. Every GM can do it because the Cardinals are famous for it here. Like, I mean, literally, people say, oh, you could have had this and this and this, like looking at certain players. And I've said this to you a million times before. When Adrian Peterson got here, it was about 9 years too late because he was sitting right there, and they went with Levi Brown at tackle and not take Adrian Peterson out of Oklahoma. Like, people in Arizona lost their minds then. And then, of course, you see what his career became in Minnesota, and people lost their mind every week they saw him rushing the ball. And then Levi Brown was gone like 2 years later.
Oh, listen, Justin Jefferson will forever be the thorn in my proverbial side when it comes to the fact that Philly could have snatched him up and they didn't. And then you saw what he did in Minnesota. So you know what, Minnesota, we threw you a bone because we took our championship from you in your stadium. So you know what, I'll mince words with Minnesota fans at a later time.
Who do you want as next head coach? What do you think?
My first pick, as always, and will be Eric Bieniemy. I want Bieniemy to come in to Philadelphia, but you know what? I'll take Robert Saleh, the defensive coordinator for San Francisco, because I think that's what we're missing, Mike. We're missing that defensive bully mentality of you come into the link, you're getting punched in the mouth, and you're leaving with a bloody lip and a busted nose.
Well, right. And our division always had that, whether you disliked, obviously, Philly or Washington or Dallas or even the Giants, like teams that came in, like you knew you were getting punched in the mouth throughout time.
Hey,
like it didn't matter.
You and I have known each other for 12, 13 years. Okay.
Yeah.
We do not like each other when the Dallas Cowboys play the Philadelphia Eagles. But you and I have both said this to each other off camera, and let me say it on camera. Mike, I will run through a mother wall for you if someone pisses you off or hurts you, because I know you got my back like that.
Absolutely.
All BS aside. But that's what I'm talking about. That grit, that grind. That's what's missing from this division. And more importantly, that's what's missing from my team. Philadelphia used to be a team about win or lose. You are leaving the arena, whether it be the Vet or Lincoln Financial, not the same person you walked in. I hate to use a WWE reference right now, but it's like Hell in a Cell. Two teams walk in, one team walks out completely different.
And you know what? But to your point, I think that because we said all year long, I mean, granted, they're whining now, which, I mean, more so the fan base. I mean, I don't think it's obviously coming out of Joe Judge's mouth because of the way he coached this year. But the Washington and the Giants, I mean, they still have that fight. And the Washington has it on defense. We know that. Like, they definitely do. The Giants the Jets gifted them Leonard Williams, which I told you what we were talking about when they made the trade, made me sick because, like, you just put a guy, you get rid of Jamal Adams, now you get rid of Williams. I mean, and both of them end up in the NFC. Obviously, Williams just literally has to go across the hallway, like being traded from the Lakers to the Clippers, and goes to the Giants. So they have that attitude. Now, you get Saquon back next year for the Giants. Daniel Jones, again, to me, I'm not going to say he can't do it because I think, yes, there's been the turnovers, but I don't know. There's a guy, and I'm not saying he's going to be him because people already crushed me on Twitter a few weeks ago when I messaged one of my friends. I'm not saying he's going to be Peyton Manning, but we all know how granted, this was Jones' second year, but still, Peyton Manning, how he started out, like Daniel Jones can play. So we'll see. Now he's going to have to cut down on the turnovers, and if he doesn't, then that's going to be obviously the Achilles for the Giants. But they're going to play hard. The Redskins have it back defensively. Ron Rivera, I know, has that attitude defensively, can bring it back. So I would think from an attitude standpoint, Salah would be a solid hire. And so would Eric Bieniemy. Again, if I'm Eric Bieniemy, I'd love to work with Deshaun Watson. I mean, you're quarterback guy. You got Deshaun Watson. You've seen him firsthand go up against the Chiefs defense, but I mean, squaring off obviously against Patrick Mahomes' team. And it's just like, that would be an interesting hire. Yeah. I mean, those names are going to be rightfully so everywhere, but I'm with you. Cause again, I always lean a little bit more defensively anyway, just because we always expect
championships.
Yeah. And we always expect when, it's just like the game last night, obviously Cleveland beats Pittsburgh, and everybody, of course, right away saying, "Oh, Pittsburgh's playing terrible." Okay, I'm not saying Ben didn't make a mistake. The one throw, okay, that was bad. It's not like, yes, there was a little bit of, it was a one-person pattern, or a one-man pattern, and literally, then he tries to get rid of the ball just on the dump off, and he throws a bad pass interception. Okay, yes, there were bad plays. Cleveland dictated that. Cleveland created bad plays.
From start to finish, they did that. So,
and defense does that, right? And defense does that. So, I mean, everybody talks about, the Ravens, and it's like, so when we want to talk about a defense, go old school, the 85 Bears, or, the Steel Curtain, or the Doomsday Defense, or the Orange Crush Defense. I mean,
or the Purple People Eaters.
Purple People Eaters. Yeah. You get to these defenses throughout history, and it's just like, oh, but then we start changing the rules on the offense, this and that. Well, the defense is still out there making plays. And I mean, it's like someone like Trent Dilfer. No, I'm not saying he's a Hall of Famer, but I get so sick and tired of people saying, oh, well, they won a Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer. I mean, that's what kills me, because people don't understand. Do you know, to play NFL quarterback, I've always said, is one thing. You do it at a level, but to win a Super Bowl as a quarter, you're not just you don't just manage 20 games, basically. I mean,
right.
If you win your 19, 20 games, right? 18 games. You don't just manage those. The quarterback has to be able to play. And Trent Dilfer, again, I'm not saying that his talent was as deep as, as Joe Montana's or John Elway's or something like that. But you're an NFL quarterback, man. You drafted him. He played in the league, for multiple teams, and he won a Super Bowl. Again, I'm not going to say, yes, he has the same, thing as Tom Brady, and stuff like that. But if you have the defense that is just nasty, and you have corners that are playing physical, that are like linebackers that'll come up and tackle, and also that can cover and shut you down. That Ravens defense had, we've seen these defenses make runs and have. Well, cool. Then you need to hire a guy like that, because they'll bring the passion to the team. And I mean, you see how guys play for Salah, not that they don't play for Bieniemy, but I mean, you just see how the defense reacts to him. It pains me to say he would be a great fit there, because he would, but But yeah, I mean,
Listen, I'll take Bieniemy on offense and Salah on defense because
well,
Jim Schwartz is gone too. So you know what?
yeah, but Salah's
Get rid
not
of the
moving.
old guys and bring me in some new blood. Let them work with Jalen Hurts. Let
Mike
Salah
Nolan
clean
got
up his
fired.
defense.
Mike Nolan finally got fired. I was so
Whatever.
happy. I can't believe you didn't message me. So they fired I can say him by name now since he got fired. And and again, I don't root for somebody to lose their job. Come on, I mean, tough times. All kidding aside, but these guys are very well compensated. Mike Nolan will land somewhere else. But yeah, if he took a lateral move and went to Dallas, I would take that in a heartbeat with what that defense needed. So, but yeah, I think he's going to be a head coach, or like he said, he'll be back in San Francisco because look, they get healthy next year too, and the NFC just got even more of a landmine to deal with because that defense is going to be nasty as well.
All right, I got to get out of here because I got things to do. I'm just saying, Doug is gone. Yeah. I thanked him for his services. Bring me Bieniemy. Bring me Robert Saleh. I'm not sure how you say his name. I apologize for screwing it up, but I'm bad with last names. Anyhow, people should know this. I'll take both of them. Let them work with Jalen, build my defense back up. But like I said, this was the first of my hat trick. Howie Roseman, you should be gone. And Carson Wentz, you should not play in a Philadelphia Eagles uniform ever again. There are other teams out there who will gladly pick up your contract. Go to Houston. Since you want to go work with Frank Wright so bad, go to Indianapolis. But I'm over Carson Wentz. And you know what the crazy thing is? And this is the last piece that I will say. I said that I was never going to buy another Philadelphia Eagles jersey until a quarterback jersey until we won a Super Bowl. So technically, I should have bought a Nick Foles jersey because we did. But I didn't buy that one, and I damn sure didn't buy a Carson one. And now I'm not like these fans who were all 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, or 9, 9, 9. No. I would much rather spend my money right now. As long as we keep Jalen Hurts, I would spend my money on him or, a couple of these other players. I got to get me an Ertz jersey because if he doesn't play in Philly anymore, I'm heartbroken. We're not even going to discuss that because
it would be sad.
I cried at his press conference. I'm going to tell you right now, grown man talk here. Okay, I shed a tear when I saw that man sit up there talking to these people saying that he loves this city. You don't see that in a lot of people. But for Zach Ertz, he will always be my favorite tight end. That's what it is. We're moving on from that.
He could be my favorite. He could be my favorite in Dallas.
Mike, I swear to God.
I'll buy you you know what? I'd buy you an Ertz Cowboys jersey, and I would send that to you.
I would never wear it. Never.
Yeah, but you have to hang it up in your closet and keep it nice.
That's horrible. All right, man. I appreciate your time, brother. Much love. I will talk to you soon. That's it, man. Your man, Eric Wilson, Sports Arena. Had to get that off my chest. Thank you, everybody, chiming in and tuning in. Really appreciate it. Let's see what happens next in Philadelphia. But Eric Bieniemy, come on, join. Come on, join. Let's get Justin Hurts. Let's get this team back to where we know it to be and what we need it to be. Long day, y'all. I'll holler at you. Peace.